So where we are going to discuss the most important news topic from today's newspaper. So without wasting any time, let's start with the news for today. So there is one very important news headline, although by reading it, just having a read, you wouldn't understand the importance of this thing for your exam purpose basically. So basically Prime Minister, he was holding a rally in the state of Tamil Nadu and where he made a statement that Congress carelessly gave away Kachativu Island to Sri Lanka. So it is some island. It's some island which must be between India and Sri Lanka, and actually India gave it away to Sri Lanka. That is what the allegation of the Prime Minister is. So let's go through what is the Kachativu Island. So if you will look at the map of India between India and Sri Lanka, you will see that here is the Bay of Bengal. And this area is known as Park Strait. And this is Park Bay. So Park Bay is the region, it is a region which is a controversial area when it's come to fishing rights of Indian fishermen as well as Sri Lankan fishermen. So basically fishermen from India and from Sri Lanka go into this area which is very rich in fishes. So what has happened is, this island up till 1958 was with India, was not with India, but actually both India and Sri Lanka were claiming it. And out of courtesy and out of certain discussion, because India believed that its case is not that strong, it actually gave away this Kachativu Island to Sri Lanka. And this is the island which is the Prime Minister is claiming that Congress did not give it full thought before giving it away. So this also gives us an opportunity to learn about certain boundary dispute which India has. So with Sri Lanka, this was the only boundary dispute or any land territory which was disputed with Sri Lanka. However, as you know, with Pakistan, we have various land disputes, the majority being related to Kashmir. So two regions of Kashmir, one is Gilgit Baltistan and the other being your Azad Kashmir. So these are two regions which are part of POK or Pakistan occupied Kashmir as of now. Apart from it, Kashmir, there is one region known as Sar Creek. So it's a large, I'll say a mixed land and maritime area near the coast of Gujarat, which is also disputed, and also is the case of Junagadh, again in the state of Gujarat. These are the three main basic disputed territories between India and Pakistan. Next important country with which we have the largest land dispute is with China. So we have the disputed territory of Aksai Chin. Apart from it, there is dispute around Devsang Plains, again in Ladakh. So your Galwan Valley is actually part of Devsang Plains only. There is also a Demchok region which is also disputed, and the whole of Arunachal Pradesh or the Tawang region of Arunachal Pradesh is actually one of the disputed, because the China claims the whole of Arunachal Pradesh as part of its Tibet region only, because it does not recognize the McMahon line. So McMahon line was decided between British India and Tibet, which was a monarchy at that time. So it was an agreement that McMahon line would be considered as the dividing boundary between Tibet and British India. However, China does not recognize the McMahon line, and that's why it claims whole of Arunachal Pradesh. Apart from it, there is also Doklam, which is in Sikkim and Bhutan. Doklam is actually in Bhutan, very near to Sikkim. That's also a disputed land border between India and China. And apart from it, there is also another Saksham Valley, or also known as Trans-Karakoram Highway, which was actually with Pakistan, and Pakistan, as a gesture of goodwill, actually transferred it to China so that it treated this transfer of Trans-Karakoram tract to China as the settlement of dispute between borders of Pakistan and China. Apart from it, with Nepal also we have land border dispute. One is the famous Kalapani area in Pithoradgarh district right now with India, and second is your Lipu Lake. A pass goes through here also for trade also between Indo and China. That's also a dispute between India and Nepal. With Bangladesh, as of now, we do not have any other disputes left, because by the 100th Constitutional Amendment Act 2015, we have exchanged the last enclaves, which were the last land enclaves, which were to be exchanged between India and Bangladesh as part of our land border dispute. So that was an overview of the land dispute which India has with different neighboring countries. Now let's move to the next news item, which is regarding our GI tags, popular GI tags. So a record 60 traditional items or products from across India have been given the GI tag. So it gives us an opportunity to understand what is GI tags. So GI or stands for Geographical Indication Tag. And ये होता क्या है basically? So geographical indication tag is given to a product which comes from a particular geographical region. So it's come from a particular geographical region, and because it comes from a particular geographical region, it has specific qualities. For example, in food products, it would have a specific kind of taste. In case of textile, it would have certain kind of texture or color, or the cloth would be of a different quality. So these coming from a specific geographic region can be given a geographic indication tag or a GI tag. And what does GI tag do? So once a product is given a GI tag, it is protected from replication or duplication, which means, so I'll give you an example that the first product which was given a GI tag in India was Darjeeling tea. So this was the first product. So if Darjeeling tea has been given a GI tag, it means that tea grown in the Darjeeling region of India or in the Darjeeling state of West Bengal can only be sold as Darjeeling tea. So if a person in Tamil Nadu or a person in Himachal Pradesh, Kangra, for example, Kangra tea is famous there, they cannot grow tea in Himachal Pradesh and sell it as Darjeeling tea. That would be violation of the GI tag which has been given. Let me explain it to you more. So how does a GI tag work? So there is a WTO TRIPS agreement. So we do this in detail in our classes when you are being taught IPRs or intellectual property rights. So WTO World Trade Organization agreement on trade related aspects of intellectual property rights. It's an agreement and it protects your IPRs, intellectual property rights. What kind of intellectual property rights? Like your patents, your copyright, trademark, GI, etc. So 6-7 types of IPRs are protected under WTO TRIPS. So since India is a signatory to WTO TRIPS, it becomes necessary for India to give protection to these IPRs, and at the same time it also gets the benefit of registering those IPRs into this region, that those products or those inventions which are given patents or GIs are protected world over. Which means if India gives GI tag to Darjeeling tea, then any other country, Pakistan, etc., cannot also sold any kind of tea as Darjeeling tea in their area or export it. So that's the protection which is given. So as per WTO TRIPS, to recognize WTO TRIPS, India actually enacted an act in the year 1990, which is known as GI Act 99. And as per it, it defines the geographical indication and it provides a 10-year protection. 10-year protection to GI products, which is renewable after every 10 years. So this is some facts regarding GI. Now let's move to the next topic. So there is one news regarding that non-residents or non-residents Indian will have a say in voting pattern in Kerala. So you may know that Kerala has a lot of expatriate population. So what is an expatriate population? So expatriate population is basically persons of Indian origin or person of a particular country who are actually working in a foreign country. So Kerala has a large number of expatriate population. So if you will go through today's 20 GK question, you will find that there was a question also regarding this. Which state sends the largest number of expatriate population into the world from India? So I can tell you one thing, if you haven't gone through them, that Kerala is not the answer. The answer is some other state. However, this gives us an opportunity to talk about expatriate population and certain facts about them. So as you may know, some of you may know, that the country with the largest expatriate population, which means the origin country, the country which is sending its people outside, is actually our own country, India. For some reason or the other, Indians keep moving outside India for better opportunity probably. So around 18 million people of Indian origin forms the expatriate population. And when we see where does these people go, what is the destination for these people, the first position is taken up by UAE or United Arab Emirates. The second position is taken up by United States of America. And the third state is Saudi Arabia. So these are the three destination states for Indians going abroad. So next question is, what in general, which is the destination for all kinds of migrants from different countries? The number one destination is actually the dream world of USA. So everyone can fulfill their dream to become rich. So destination wise, USA is the largest destination. When it comes to the largest expatriate population in general, India stood at first. Second is actually Mexico. Mexico very near to comes on the southern border of USA, and many Mexicans go to USA, which also form the largest expatriate group of USA there. Second is Mexico, and many people don't know, but Russia stands at the third position. So this is an overview of how the expatriate population works. Another fact which you should know is that there are two provisions, two laws, international conventions, which tries to protect migrants or refugees. So there is one international, United Nations International Convention on Migration, on refugees. And it was actually created in the year 1951 itself. And there is a protocol. Protocol is basically kind of rules. So basically there would be an act and there would be rules inside which can be changed from time to time. So there is one 1951 agreement or convention and there is a protocol. And I don't know if it's a sad part, but India has not signed it. India has not signed it, which means India is not bound by this. And what does this International Convention on Refugee tells us? That tells us that if a refugee or asylum seeker comes to your country, then you cannot send him back. You have to give him asylum or entry into your country. Since India is not a signatory to it, India does not follow it. So who is a refugee? So refugee is a person who, because of persecution or discrimination in his origin country, has traveled to another country and he cannot or is not willing to go back to his country for fear of persecution or discrimination. And this persecution or discrimination can be on any ground. It can be on the basis of religion, it can be based on region, it can be on basis of caste, color, etc. However, if someone is persecuted in his country, he has the right to refuge in your country, and your country should not send him back. And that principle is known as right to non-refoulement. Refoulement is to send someone back, which means there is right to non-refoulement. Since India is not a signatory, India does not follow this. Now let's move to the next. So again, Bharat Ratna has been covered very often, so let's have a revision again. So Bharat Ratna. So Bharat Ratna is the highest civilian award of India. So question for you is, which is the highest military or gallantry award of India? Please mention in the chat box or in the comments which is the military or highest military or gallantry award of India. So Bharat Ratna is actually the highest civilian award. It was started in the year 1954. Usually it is given to 3 persons. This year it was given to 5 persons. In the year 1999 also it was given to 4 years. However, as per the provisions of the president, it is usually given to 3 persons. Also, for example, in the first year it was given to 3 persons. So we can't say that he was the first recipient because the government doesn't say so. But Shri Rajgopalasari comes first in the person who received it. Second was S. Radhakrishnan, and the third was C.V. Raman. So 3 people received this award. C. Rajgopalachari, also known as Rajaji, he was the last Governor General of India between 1948 and 26 January 50, when India became independent. S. Radhakrishnan was the first Vice President and second President of India. And C.V. Raman was a scientist, Nobel physics winner for Raman effect, for finding of Raman effect related to scattering of light. So all of this becomes important this year because Bharat Ratna has been awarded to 5 persons, which means question from this can also come. So you should know these also. Next, certain facts. So in the year 2024, also remember, Bharat Ratna is not awarded year-wise. So you cannot say that it was for 2024 it was awarded to 5 people. 2024 or in the year 2024, 5 persons were given this award or were nominated. So first was Karpuri Thakur, famously called as, also known as Jannayak by his followers. Next is L.K. Advani. Next you have Chaudhary Charan Singh. Next you have M.S. Swaminathan. And one is P.V. Narasimha Rao. So 5 persons have been nominated for this year. You should know that L.K. Advani actually became the 50th recipient. So L.K. Advani was the 50th recipient, and as of now, total of 53 persons have been awarded this Bharat Ratna. Apart from it, some other facts about Bharat Ratna. Oldest person, D.K. Karve. And youngest, Sachin Tendulkar. One other fact which you can know is the first foreigner, non-Indian to receive it was Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. So these are some of the facts and other related facts which you can also find out. You can mention in the chat box also. However, these are some of the facts which you should know. Next news item. So actually there are certain reports that IMD has actually alerted us orange alert. In that particular area has given a yellow alert. So it gives us an opportunity to understand your Indian Meteorological Department or IMD, which looks after your weather, comes up with how many types of alerts. So one is your green alert, very small topic, but still a question can come. Next is your yellow alert or amber alert. Amber is also yellow. Next would be orange alert, and last would be red alert in extreme cases. So green alert means no warning, nothing, it's a normal day. Yellow alert is be updated, which means keep following the updates which are given by IMD. Orange alert is be prepared that there can be an extreme weather event. In red alert is take action, move to a different place. For example, let's say there going to be a heavy rainfall, and because of which there can be flooding in your region. If a red alert is issued, it is expected that you move to higher regions. So these are some of the alerts which are given by IMD in case of extreme weather events. Next question, again next news item. So in the editorial, now there has been an issue, an ongoing dispute, which has now been resolved in the Supreme Court between the state of Kerala and the state of India or Indian state. So this case was filed by Kerala under Article 131, which means now we know that if there is a dispute between India and a state of India, then the original suit actually lies directly to the Supreme Court. So Kerala has filed a case against it. So let's read about the context. So there is a constitutional body known as Finance Commission. It's a constitutional body under Article 280 of the Constitution. And what its main job is, so whatever the tax has come up with the center or with the state, it's actually gives a division of that tax. So what percent of tax would go to the center and what is to be divided between the state, it is given by the Finance Commission. So this is one of the job of Finance Commission. So the 14th Finance Commission under RBI Governor Y.V. Reddy was actually provided for 42% of devolution to states. That 42% of the tax should go to the state. The 15th Finance Commission under N.K. Singh provided that it should be 41%. So 1% less because Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh were made a UT and not a state. So since UTs are under the control of the central government, so 1% was taken away from the states. And now the 16th Finance Commission has been constituted under the chairmanship of Arvind Panagiriya. Arvind Panagiriya is your chairman. So this is the context. Also, Finance Commission consists of one chairperson plus 4 members, one secretary. It actually provides recommendations, and important thing is those are non-binding. The recommendations are non-binding and its tenure is for 5 years. So it has a 5-year tenure. So these are certain facts about Finance Commission. So the issue which Kerala is facing is that you may know that Finance Commission is going to give some percentage to the state. For example, let's say it is going to give 40% of total share of taxes to the state. However, this 40% is going to be divided between different states. So there are certain criteria which has been mentioned here. If you will look here, how the 15th Finance Commission devolved the 40% among different states. For example, one criteria which it took was the income distance. Income distance. And income distance basically means that let's say if a particular state like Bihar, which is the poorest state, how far it is from the average income which is being given, which is being earned by every state. So let's say if its income distance is very high, then income distance actually gets 45% weightage. So out of the total, 45% weightage is given to income distance, which means a poorer state is going to get more amount. Poorer state is going to get more amount, and state which have been efficient in their work actually are going to get less amount. And Kerala is claiming that because it has been efficient, it has able to reduce its population, it has been able to increase its income also. It is actually year by year, by 14, 15 and now the 16th Finance Commission, because of the weightage is going to get lesser amount. Okay, next thing, why the Kerala has gone to the Supreme Court. So actually this year what happened was that the central government actually put up a borrowing limit, a public borrowing limit on Kerala, that Kerala cannot borrow more. And as you may know that either its center or any state, it needs to borrow from the public so that it can pay back its interest. So the center argued that the fiscal deficit limit, that what maximum deficit or what maximum difference between expenditure revenue can a state has is 3.5%. However, Kerala is already around 3.1%. So it means that it can be a bankrupt state, or finally if it does not pay up its share, then the state or the center has to pay for it. So this is